The Lost, The Amazing World of Gumball episode that was never shown on TV. The Patch. It all started like any normal day. Gumball was sitting in class when Bobbert made an announcement. Attention! Environment. Update 3.6 installed. Reality has been optimized. No one paid attention. Except Gumball. He started noticing strange things. Darwin didn't blink for almost a minute. Teachers were repeating the exact same lines, word for word. On the classroom board, a message appeared. Don't look for the patch. During recess, he saw a student walk through a closed door. Carrie was frozen in midair like a broken animation frame. And then, the seams. Thin white lines in the air like cracks. When you looked away, they disappeared. The next morning, it got worse. His room looked slightly off. The walls were tilted. The sunlight hit the floor at a strange angle. His mom stood at the stove and said in a flat voice, "Good morning, Gumball. Good morning, Gumball. Good morning." He ran outside. Elmore was frozen. The trees didn't move. Birds were stuck in the sky. On the school wall, he saw it, a black patch pulsing like a wound. Static leaked from its edges. He touched it, and everything went white. He was now in a blank void. Around him floated broken, glitched-out scenes from old episodes. The audio was reversed. Everything pulsed like it was breathing. Then it stepped out of the shadows. It looked like Gumball, but its face was a flickering TV screen, its eyes pure static. It spoke. You weren't supposed to see it. The patch held everything together. Close your eyes. He tried to scream, but couldn't. The world was shutting down from the inside. He woke up at home. Everything seemed normal. Darwin, Mom, school, all fine. But when he looked into the mirror, he had no pupils. His eyes were blank, white. He blinked, and in the mirror's reflection, a white crack formed on the wall. The screen flickers. Patch failure, subject Gumball. In the final shot, Gumball is sitting in the dark. He slowly turns to the viewer and whispers, "Don't look behind you." The screen goes black. A lost episode of The Amazing World of Gumball that was never on TV. The episode starts like any other. Morning at the Watterson house. Gumball walks into the kitchen, full of excitement. "I have a new friend. His name is Elrich." Darwin looks confused. He hasn't seen anyone new at school. "Elrich? Who's that?" "He came from the wall," Gumball replies casually. Darwin laughs it off. Probably just another imaginary friend, but day by day, Gumball talks to Elrich more and more, like he's real. At first, it seems harmless, but then, strange things begin happening. Mirrors in the house start to distort, especially near Gumball. Strange notes appear in his notebooks, written in jagged, unfamiliar handwriting. "Let him stay." In old family photos, someone else appears, a blurry, tall figure with long arms and no face. Every time, a little closer. Darwin tries to talk to him. "You're acting weird. Who is Elrich, really?" Gumball looks cold, distant. He whispers, "You're just jealous. He showed me the real Elmore, not the one you see." From that point on, everything changes. The colors of the show begin to fade. Music disappears. Background characters loop their actions. One blink, one step, again and again. The world feels frozen. Gumball draws Elrich, a tall silhouette with a static-covered face, like a broken TV screen. He's almost ready. Soon, he'll get to stay forever. That night, Darwin wakes up. Gumball is standing in front of the wall, whispering, "You can come out. I'll let you out." The wall begins to shake. Cracks spread across it. A thick black liquid oozes through. Something is crawling out. Darwin screams. The light flicks on, and everything vanishes. Empty room, except for one thing written on the wall. You should have let me stay." The next morning, Gumball is smiling again, like nothing ever happened. Darwin just watches him silently. The camera slowly zooms out. In the reflection of the microwave, there he is, Elrich, standing behind Gumball. And slowly, he turns his head toward the viewer. A lost horror episode of The Amazing World of Gumball 1 that never aired on TV. The episode began with Gumball waking up in his room. He looked exhausted, and his movements were slow, as if he were still dreaming. The camera lingered on his face for an uncomfortably long time. He turned his head toward Darwin, who was standing by the window, completely silent. His eyes were wide open, and he didn't even blink. There was no sound, no dialogue, no background noise. Gumball got up and stepped into the hallway. In the kitchen sat the whole family, Mom, Dad, Anais, all in their usual places. But none of them moved. They looked frozen, like wax figures. The only thing still alive in the house was the television. On the screen, static and harsh noise, flashing rapidly between disturbing images, pieces of flesh, disembodied mouths, distorted sentences. Gumball tried to scream, "Hey, what's going on?" But no sound came from his mouth, just a wide, silent gasp. He ran outside, and that's when things truly felt wrong. All of Elmore had stopped. People were frozen. Cars halted mid-intersection. Even birds were suspended in the sky. The air felt thick, like the world itself was holding its breath. And then, a sound. Just one. Something was breathing. Slowly, heavily, somewhere close. Gumball turned around, and behind him stood a tall figure, barely distinguishable from the background. It wore a plain white mask without a face. It didn't move, didn't speak. It just stood there. Gumball ran, but the streets of Elmore began to twist and distort. The houses stretched upward, the sky turned dark, the streetlights flickered. Then, in the sky, a massive white eye opened. On screen, distorted text appeared. "You woke it. Go back." Gumball made it home. He slammed the door behind him, panting. He climbed the stairs to his room and froze. There, on his bed, sat himself. Another Gumball, identical but with completely blank white eyes. His smile was unnaturally wide. They stared at each other in silence. Then the second Gumball leaned forward and whispered, "You weren't supposed to wake up. Now this is your world too." The lights cut out instantly. The final frame was Gumball's face, horribly distorted. And then, total darkness. At the very end, over a black screen, distorted voices from old episodes could be heard. "Let's go, Darwin. It's just a game." Followed by a child's laughter that slowly turned into a scream. For a split second, a family photo of the Wattersons appeared, but all their eyes were empty black voids. The image seemed to burn like an old photograph left in the sun. Then a single phrase replaced it. "This episode is no longer broadcast.